It's only 6 o'clock in the evening and look, you'd think it was midnight. But on a happy bonus, my little sister who saw in the Australian vlogs has popped over and has come to say hello. Lainey is on form, kicking some ass, making her chicken Thai burgers, which is one of my, I think probably my favourite meal. So whenever she says, what would you like me to make?
I'd have to.
Little sis checking back in. There's mum. And more importantly, look at my burger. Fuck it all. Family food, family food. A couple of glasses of bubbly to celebrate the old engagement, the old ball and chain, I was saying, yeah. This has 0 calories because it's dark outside. It's after 6 o'clock, and technically you're still on Australian time, which means calories don't exist.
How could it kill me?
Rocks. I am not a performing monkey. Gym, and I have got on 1, 2, 3 layers because it is freaking freezing. Today we're going to be doing some chest and some arms. The main thing I want to focus on here is I'm going to take you through some of the chest warm-ups you might not think to do, but they're going to really help your bench press. So we're going to play today on the bench press, then we're going to go do some biceps and triceps, maybe supersetted, higher volume because it's freaking freezing. Okay, so what a lot of people don't understand is that when you're doing the bench press, you're utilising a lot of legs, glutes, hamstrings, quads. They're all engaging to give you a foundation on which to push off and press the way through. So if we can warm up all our lower body and get that mobility work going and then moving to the upper body, the whole body is going to be engaged, everything's going to be firing, and hopefully we'll have a stronger, more rigid, tighter and better controlled lift. Now this may seem strange, but you're going to warm up your lower body. The first movement is going to be this high step. So what you're imagining doing is stepping over a bench with the lead leg, bringing the knee up and then around, and then you're going to trail the back leg behind it. You're going to do this walking left up one way, then you're going to come back the opposite direction, so you have a different lead leg on the way back down. So although that might look really weird, what that's doing is warming up. It's getting all the hip flexors involved, the glute med, bringing the glute in and opening up all your hips, getting that mobility, getting that movement. The main thing is opening up the hips, so when you go to arch your back and drive through your heels, your ass is able to stay down on the bench, and that arch will have to be established and maintained without those hips popping, because you're going to have more open hips, so everything's going to be a little less tight. Next. Following on from that, you're going to do some high knees. So you can do this very simply, and it depends on your hip mobility on how you want to do it. If you've not done them before, you can simply walk, bring your knees high. If you get better at it, you can put a little bit of a skip kick into there. So that means that you'll just raise up on your front toe and then drive the knee a little higher each time. Finally, kickbacks. Now these ones are very strange looking, but a great one for all over stability from the ankle all the way up to the hip and even into the lower back and the core. They look a little odd, you need a little bit of space, and if you don't have the space, you can just do these kicking back, holding onto a wall or something else to stabilize yourself. So that one again, really working the hip flexors, opening up the hips, but also stabilization on your lower back, core, all down through to the ankle, dorsal flexion, whole host of things being worked, but now that's a full, decent, lower mobility routine. In terms of talking about just something simple, where we're not actively focused on legs. So there you go, bit of CrossFit to get you started. So moving on to the upper body and an upper pec stretch. So what I'm explaining here is you want to turn your palm up to the ceiling and you want to have your arm in line with your shoulder. Then what you're going to do is step across yourself. You're going to turn your chest up and away, and that's going to pull on the chest muscle. By setting your hand up to start with, what you're going to do is avoid a tendency of where you want to bend your arm in, as I'm showing here. And when you bend that arm in, you'll also rotate your hand back down towards the floor, and you won't even notice that you're doing it. So if you start right, you'll finish right. So twist everything, have the palm to the ceiling, and then step across yourself, and then pull your chest across and upward, and you'll feel it pull right the way across your upper pec. This opens your chest up like you wouldn't believe, especially if you don't do this stretch regularly, and your bench press will 100% improve. Right, moving on from that, we're going to go to something that I had no idea what to call it, so I called it windmills. Basically, you need a band or a stick or something rigid, and what you're going to do is you're going to extend up, over and behind, and the whole trick of this is to try and stop yourself arching backwards and compensating for the movement. You want to make the shoulders really roll around in the joint and get through a full range of motion. So to do this, what you want to do is get an elastic band and get the tension just so tight that it allows you to just about get over. What I'm showing there is that what you don't want to do is, as you get to the peak at the top, to then follow it around with your back. You want to keep your torso straight, so try and put in a partial vacuum, keep your chest up, soft knees, and stop your hips swinging backwards and forwards. It's going to feel really weird to start with, but this is a real burner. You want to do around about 20 reps, and the stretches were all held for 30 seconds for 3 sets. Okay, so in the other bench press video that a lot of you said was really useful, some of you were giving me handy hints because I asked for it, because this is something I need to improve on after having impingement in my left shoulder, which stopped me benching for well over a year. Like I haven't done progressional bench for say 2 years. So a lot of you were saying in the previous video why my head was up, so I was lifting with my head up. I'll show you why. So this is the bench we're going to use today, and as you can see, in terms of where the bar sits here, the bench is well behind that central point, so you see the head of the bench is there. The other time I was benching on this bench, the head of the bench is actually behind the bar, hence my head being off the bench, which is why it was up. And the reason for that was because I was deep into the bench to be able to unrack it without putting stress on my shoulders and traps. Now, I've been out the gym for 2 solid days, Monday and Tuesday, because unfortunately I came in on my own and I was unracking it and tweaked my trap. And what happened was, as I wasn't deep set enough into the bench, my head was here, so when I'm unracking, what that essentially meant was, rather than unracking from here, I was unracking from there, having to pull that bar over and up above my chest, and in that part where it's going over and onto the chest, all that load is on my shoulder. And my left side couldn't deal with it, so the trap came in to compensate, ping. So that's why you've got to be super careful whenever you're doing these things, because like I said, it's not usually the major movements that'll get you, it's the fuckety things. Always listen to your body. Push it, but don't break it. Okay, so now we're thoroughly warmed up, what we're going to do is we're going to concentrate on getting our technique in terms of where the body needs to be sat during the lifts. So we're going to do a mind to muscle just for body posture. No weight on the bar, 25 rep posture setting set. So here what we want to see is an arch in the lower back. We want to see our glutes still on the bench, hips nice and high with glutes still on the bench, feet planted evenly and symmetrically either side, driving through the heels with our shoulders back, which means scapula engaged, and our lats engaged as well. So we're looking for that nice strict movement with our elbows sat comfortably in. Wherever you find it's comfortable for that, the main thing you want to look at is that your hand is in line with your elbow. Some of you pointed out to me on some of my lifts, my hand was slightly further in than my elbow, which is a very good point. That's not to happen. So wherever your hands sit, once you've tucked your elbows in, you want your hands in line with your elbows. So taking all that into account, what you need to do is implement it, and the best way to do that is to get yourself on the bench with no weight. What you're also going to do is go through the range of motion and maintain the posture at the same time to get that muscle and motor pathway connected. Also get the mind to muscle connected and to warm up the body through the range of motion. It's always wise to put your body through the actual ranges of motion, like I showed you on squats, sitting down to the squat position. It's no different for every movement that you do that's a big compound or is going to be weighted or you want to progress on. Then set the body in the positions that it's going to be in. Start creating those motor pathways. Start creating the mind to muscle connections. Start feeling the body being out of place. The sooner that you can critique yourself and feel something shift and move and not be where it should be, the faster you'll progress, the easier you will pick up on errors, and the better you will be week to week, and the less chance you'll have of hitting plateaus. So here you can see what I'm doing. I am keeping my heels driven into the floor. You can see me re-emphasizing it there because I'm talking through to Sam, who was training with me kindly, again helping to spot and take the camera where needed. Then I'm keeping my glutes squeezed as I drive up. I'm gripping the handle as hard as I can and I'm driving through from my heels into my hands. I'm maintaining that arch in my lower back, but I'm also engaging my lats and keeping them contracted. When you do this and allow the elbows to travel down through that range of motion we talked about last time, which I'll cover again in a second, you should find that nothing else moves or shifts other than the joint you're allowing to bend, which is the elbows. Even your shoulders should be pinned back. So one final thing, one of the major things that you want to be doing when you're on this, and that is simply the way your elbow sits on the bar. Most people, when they grab a bar, they'll grab it like this. If I bend my elbows now, you'll see they go outward. What I want to do is rotate that joint over, so we're rolling that way. So from here, I just roll. See, my hand stays exactly the same, but I roll. And because I roll them under, instead of going out, because they roll, they're going to want to come in and down. That's what's going to keep you nice and tight and compact, and you can feel much more powerful.
So to get everything in place, this is what I do. I set my hands, I have my feet up on the bench, I pull myself from under the bar, and then I drive my hips up using my feet, arch my lower back, pin my shoulders back by engaging the scapula. I then set my feet down either side from that position, maintaining that upper body posture with that lower arch in my back, chest nice and high. I rotate the elbows in, bring them down. As it touches the sternum, not across your chest above the nipples, you're looking for it to hit around about the sternum. You're going to drive from your heels, you're going to keep your lats engaged, and then you're going to press up through the hands, which are gripping the bar tightly, maintaining all those contraction points. So glutes, lats, elbows coming in nice and narrow, keeping the shoulders rolled back with the scapula engaged. If anything at any point becomes uncontracted or isn't locked in, stop, reset, recontract it, even re-rack and unrack if you need to. Again, making sure that if you're feeling any pain that is causing you to be unsymmetrical or to be off balance, that you back off if you need to. Do not risk injury to try and just drive through with stubbornness. Here you can see by set 3, my form was pretty good, but I still take a few rest pauses to re-engage where necessary. I will always sacrifice reps to regain technique. Very, very important in my eyes. Always form over ego. So I got up to 100 kilograms on the bench this time around because I was being careful, being wary of that shoulder. And you can see here how high my sternum is and what I was talking about, where the bar is going to come down to. So you can always see it comes down to just above like the ribs almost, and then you're going to drive up and through the palms. This felt really great and comfortable, and for those that don't know, I suffered a car accident a couple of years ago which caused bad impingement in my left shoulder, which means I haven't benched properly for, I'd say, well in excess of 18 months to 2 years. On and off I went back to it, but I used to get shoulder pain. Since implementing all of these strategies and techniques, I have had zero pain in my shoulder, which just goes to show how I was lifting forward was obviously using a compensatory style caused by the injury I sustained to my left rotator. Now going back to ground zero and building back up, I have zero pain. I'm getting back to good weights, but more importantly, I'm activating more muscle. My chest has never looked better, and you'll see at the end of this video that I do a slight pose down to show, even though we're not doing a pump out workout here, it's more kind of a rep workout of 5 reps, I think it was, by the time I got to 100, because I was being careful and just concentrating on technique. The muscle is still growing, it's still reacting, and it is getting better. So hopefully all of these little things will help you just find those little points that you can improve on, and week to week you'll get better, and so will the muscle. We then moved on to cable flies. What I didn't show on the bench press was 3 warming sets with 80 kilos, so around about 8 sets done on bench in total, so good volume and 0 shoulder pain. Onto the cable flies, we're going to go look at posture here. Some of the major errors people make on this are to have pronated shoulders, which I'm going to show you now. Here's where they should sit, and here's where most people put them. The problem with this is then also on the negative, what they have a tendency to do is lift the shoulders up rather than keep the load on the chest, and then they're just firing through with joint movement. There's disconnection from the positive to the negative, and you're just not maximizing muscle contraction, control, or stimulation. What you want to do is, as I just showed there, is you want to roll your shoulders back and have your chest nice and high, come back like you would a fly motion on the bench. You also want to control the hands and make sure that they come back evenly. Due to impingement on my left side, I have a tendency to, when I get to the top point of the contraction here, to let the left hand or left arm snap back as soon as it reaches the contraction. You have to stop this, or what will happen is the left arm will end up going further back on the negative than right, leading to imbalances.
So you can see some of the major problems that most people have, and everybody does it, everyone's done it. It's a natural way the body compensates to try and take the stress off that main load of the negative. But if you relax your neck, you relax your traps. So relax your face, that will relax your neck, which will not let you bring your traps in, which will stop you bringing those shoulders up. So if you see so, stop, relax, go.
Just taking a look at the final reps on my final set, just to show you how it stays very rigid, very strict, no swing. And when I get to a point of contention, you'll see I take a rest pause, I reset my shoulders, and I drive through. I don't swing through, I'm not using my legs, my body weight. I'm controlling every single rep and getting the most out of the positive and the negative.
No rope, no problem. Bandana from my bag.
So a little trick that I often like to use with a bandana, a t-shirt or any solid piece of material in the bag, if the ropes are taken or there's maybe only one in your gym and you need two, then you can simply do rope extensions, hammer grip like this with any piece of material that you're willing to hold. It is a little tougher on your hands, it does hurt a little bit more, but you still get a really great movement and contraction, so there is never a need to sit around texting, talking or chatting just because there's no rope available. Supersets here were done, so I did the rope, hammer grip, triceps straight into overhand bicep curl. This was done for 5 sets. It was a 8 to 12 rep range. I tried to squeeze at the top of every rep to bring it to a 10 rep range where I could, and then moved on, flipped to the other side of the cables and did V-bar push downs followed by rope hammer curls for the biceps. This is an absolute killer. Minimal rest to be taken between sets, but maximum form to be used throughout. Just because you're supersetting and doing higher volume doesn't mean you rush the technique. The technique must still be as it would be if you were lifting heavy. So especially on things like the biceps, see how I roll my shoulders back and engage. I have my hips cleared out the way, my chest is up, and I'm not pigeon necking with my head like a lot of people tend to do. My traps are staying nice and relaxed and disengaged, and I'm getting a full contraction and a full negative, letting the arms go straight all the way to the bottom and then squeezing on the way up.
All my ladies and the fellas on the hustle and the grind. If you got a couple haters that don't wanna see you shine, if they got a problem with you, well I tell them get in line. I ain't got the time for them, know what I'ma do, just flex on them. Get up in your face, just flex on them. Put them in their place, just flex on them.
There you go guys, I hope that has really helped out. What I want to try and do is create more of a series in line with how my bench press is going, how my squats going. So I'll keep incorporating those and showing you my progression out of this injury and through this rehab. And then alongside, do like I did today, having some other movements put in there so that we can create a different movement that I'm able to impart something new that I've learned about or maybe give you variations. Cool? Sound good? Sweet. Other than that, please guys, make sure that you comment in the comment section below if you have any other questions. I always try my best to answer them. Guys, if you know the answer to a question someone's asking like you have been doing, light them up. It is great to see you guys interacting and helping one another. That is the whole purpose of the fitness community. Let's keep that ball rolling. On other news, I hope you're all enjoying the mentalness that is the Black Friday weekend. Sales are obviously all running now, so I'll give you a real quick breakdown. Gymshark's full Black Friday sale is in full flow. There's over 50% off some of the items. It's an absolute madness one. They are completely getting rid of entire lines in that sale. I know because I was at the offices the other week, because there's all new stuff coming in 2017. So get them while they're there, because once they're gone, they will be gone. 2, EHP are firing out an awesome deal for this Black Friday weekend. If you use the code LUCKYGIFT, you'll get a free hoodie with every order, and every 5th order that goes through gets a black card which will have the value of their order on the card for you to be able to spend again. It's an awesome deal. Details in the description. And last but not least, the Desire brand. Sales have hit there, over 50% off selected lines. I know a lot of it's sold out, guys, but if you were on Snapchat, you would have already known. You'd already be in the loop. So make sure you follow me on Snapchat at Lex Boom Baby. Other than that, I also put on some of the retro Boom Baby lines that we found the last bits of stock from. They're on there. There won't be many sizes or variations, but there's a few, so you can get a bit of that retro feel. Otherwise, I hope you're all having a great weekend. Be safe, have fun. I'll catch you in the next video. My crew.
I am back and I'm even better.